When did you start?
Sa Converge?
Yeah, Converge.
Me?
The actual company.
The company. So the parent or the predecessor 1992.
1992.
So 25 years na ngayon. But Converge as a telco or a service provider with a telco license 2008. So that's about 9 years.
9 years.
But the build out of the fiber started, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about 3 years ago. 3 years. Before that, they were using Destiny cable partnering, pero Destiny was bought by Sky. So after that, they started to build na the network. Me, I joined about a year ago.
So that's when they started building palang the
Yeah.
infrastructure for fiber. What year was that again?
I think it was about 3 years ago that they started building their own fiber network instead of using somebody else's fiber.
What were the services back in 1992?
92, it was basically cable TV.
Okay.
So cable TV, and then over time kasi, cable TV evolved into a technology called hybrid fiber coax. So yung backbone niya fiber na. So after that, they decided to offer cable modem. So yung cable modem, better version ng I don't know if you even know about it, dial-up, baka hindi ka pa pinapanganak nun no?
I was using dial-up.
You were?
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
okay.
I started
So,
using the internet.
cable
Like the
modem was better than dial-up. So yun ang una nilang cable TV, then cable modem.
Those
And
were
then,
their first steps
that was the
into
first,
providing internet connections. And now, you're in, talk about the coverage area of Converge currently.
Yeah. So actually, the company, there are several companies in the group, no? So from a cable TV perspective, so we have a cable company. They're present in Central Luzon and parts of North Luzon. So they offer cable TV and cable modem. In Metro Manila, the company who's present is Converge. And here, we only do fiber optic services, so pure fiber. But we're also rolling out our fiber optic services in the North and Central Luzon area. And then we're about to start rolling out also in Calabarzon.
Calabarzon.
Yes.
Okay. But mainly Luzon
Yes.
area.
For now, it's Luzon.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in the future, they also plan to provide
The plan of the company really is to go nationwide.
What's the timetable like for
Well, depends, no? Kasi we're also looking at what will happen with the NBN, the planned NBN. So the National Broadband Network, either we participate and build it for government, or if somebody else does it, or if government does it, then we can ride on it. Kasi the important thing here is the backbone.
The backbone.
Sa the access network, the fiber that goes to your home, we will always build it ourselves. But you also need that backbone, like from Batangas to Mindoro to Cebu.
That's like the main spine of
Yeah, that's the main link. So right now it's a bit expensive to rent that. So business case doesn't make sense. And then we have to spend pa on building the access network. So our plan is build the backbone and then build the access network. So that's how we roll out. And then
But
that way we can control our quality also.
But if the government is able to roll out its own backbone,
Yes.
that would also help you guys to reach more Filipinos.
Yes,
Is that
based on
right
what
to-
I read kasi, the idea is if they build it,
If
they
they
will make it available to competitive providers.
Okay.
And hopefully at rates that are not like the two giants. No? I mean, better, lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it would make sense.
Okay. But you are also planning
Yes,
to
we're
build
also
your
planning.
own if
Yes.
the government doesn't build it.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Right, that's correct.
There was one question earlier, the Facebook Live of the presentation. One guy was saying that it's a burstable speed.
Mhm.
Right? So he was asking, why can't you commit an assured minimum Mbps instead of a maximum burst?
Well, it's basically the cost dynamics kasi. So, content, there's very little local content. So, it comes from overseas. No? And there's a cost to that. So, the cost to that is a bit high. If a customer says, give me 100 megabits and then you give me dedicated 100 megabits, I don't think anybody can afford. So instead, what we're trying to do is to engineer the network. So although we do not provide any commitments, and you can ask our customers when they complain, we never tell them that, but we did not commit anything to you. So we actually try to get it back to us, to the situation when they were happy with the service. The reality is there's very little naman that you can do. I mean, you cannot fill probably a 50 megabit, not even a 20 megabit. I mean, what can you do to fill it up? No? It's impossible. Me and my household, 5 people, we don't fill up our 100 megabit.
Are you promising a certain minimum speed at least? Or
Not for residential.
not for residential?
Yes. The nearest would be, because it's similar to what the other competitors are offering. So they're saying 30% of the speed,
Okay.
80% of the time.
Okay.
So, we also say that. But again, in reality, when our customers complain, they're not really talking about 80% of the time. They're talking 100% of the time. Kasi pag bumaga, like this morning, there were a few complaints. We act on it immediately. So it's almost like 100% of the time.
Okay.
And then, when you talk about speed naman, normally their measure is speed test. And so far, when the speed test is not within the subscribed speed, we act on it.
Okay.
So it's not a simple speed test. No, I promised 30%, right? So 20 megabits, that's 6 megabits, don't complain. It has to be 19 point something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about customer service also earlier. That was one of your talking points in your presentation. That seems to be very important.
It's very important.
Converge?
Yes, kasi we don't advertise, we cannot afford to give away a whole lot of freebies. So we believe that the only way we can compete is through the customer experience. And one of those is actually how you respond when there's a problem. So I showed some metrics, we're still improving, but it's it's a lot better than before. Before, customers will complain, they're calling, nobody's answering, ganon. So sometimes when you have a major outage, then there's a surge of complaints. We cannot answer every call. But what our commitment is to call everyone, kasi we capture the number.
Okay.
We call them back within 4 hours.
How, aside from your philosophy on customer service, how do you set yourself apart from the more established?
Some of the technologies we use are actually leading edge. It's probably not on the network technology kasi anybody can buy that. But for example, the way we build our fiber network, so the technology we use, micro trenching. Imagine, we do 2-inch trench, and in a 2-inch trench, we can put 1,000 fibers. Because the owner, our CEO, is actually a visionary. So he's always, when you talk about fiber technology per se, the fiber, he's ahead. So whether it's the way we dig the roads, the ducts, we call them micro ducts, the fibers, we call them microfibers. So we have a lot more capacity in our network than the traditional methods.
So you just dig 2-inch trenches?
2-inch wide.
That's the fiber.
And then the shallowest, nearest to the customer na, is about a foot. But the backbone is, depending on the location, up to 1.2 meters. Standards naman yan . So we follow the standard.
Even the foot, that's a usual standard.
That one kasi, there's no standard because in the past, what most of them will do is just do aerial on the pole. So kami, we dig as close to the customer as possible, and then we go up to the pole to go into the house. Kasi into the house, you have to go up to the pole. Walang underground papasok sa bahay.
Does that technique offer some advantages?
Oh yeah. Number one, it's actually faster than traditional methods. Number two, it's non-disruptive. Since it's non-disruptive, it's easier to get a permit. Kasi if you're gonna dig, for example, a cement road, if you dig the normal, they call it open trench, I think, 2 feet wide, you have to reblock the whole thing. They will not allow you to just fix that part that you cut. You have to reblock the whole thing, meaning it takes a long time. If it's a 2-inch trench, they allow you to just fix that part. So it's easier to get a permit. And
As opposed to the 2-meter.
We've heard all the noise about it's so hard to get a permit, di ba? Eh, siyempre, if you're using old technology, it's hard to get a permit.
Okay.
But in our case, we use new technology. So actually, there was a video, it's in my Facebook page, how quickly it is. No? We were doing trenching in Makati CBD on a Saturday morning. Parang in a few minutes, we were done. Eh, if you're doing the traditional way, diba? That would be hours. Start in the morning, evening, they're still at it. In our case, first, they were cutting, and then somebody was cleaning up behind. Done.
That's a faster process.
So yan yung advantage.
Okay.
And also, because we have a company that does it, they were a bit different from the big boys. They always outsource, subcontract.
Yeah.
So in our case, we control it.
Okay. That's interesting because that's one of the problems that telcos are saying now. That it's so hard to get the permits. And now with the technology that you have implemented, it seems to be a workaround that
Yes.
permitting process. Yeah. Hasn't the government approached you to adopt those microtrenching techniques for their own?
We actually supply services to government, like the ICT and the Department of Science.
Okay.
So when they, for example, they need to buy or lease a dark fiber, so we also bid on those. But in terms of getting us to do the construction for them, not yet, kasi they don't do construction so far. They just lease services.
Okay.
But if they're going to do it, yes. The subsidiary is a construction company. Actually, we've done projects for other telcos.
What are these products?
One of them, they needed a backbone between Manila and Makati, so we built it for them. Then the other one was they needed to fiberize a certain area, so we did the fiberization. We constructed the fiber.
Okay.
Parang last mile yung isang project, backbone the other project.
So you also act as subcontractors for other telcos?
It's not our priority, but in this case, they asked for a favor, and sometimes we need favors from them. So the owner said, sure, why not? You know, we're all friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that also been talked about in terms of the future success of whatever internet plans we have for the country. Like they say that we need a third player in the industry. Thoughts on that?
Well, I actually worked for one of the giants, by the way. I was with Globe for a long time. And in fairness to them, I can say that they compete aggressively against each other.
Okay.
But, you know, there will always be a limit. Kasi if there's only the two of you, sometimes you get, I'm not saying they do this, but you can get to a situation where, why should I drop my price? They're not dropping their price. I just, you know, stay like this, have a cozy. I'm not saying that it's a duopoly, but, you know, it can get into that. But when you have somebody like us who's disruptive, then it keeps them on their toes. So actually, it's beneficial to them also. They do not get to be complacent. Yeah, actually, our lowest plan, our entry-level plan, the plan 1520 megabits, which we just upgraded to 25, 1 year since we launched it, they still haven't matched it. They can't, I think. They'll probably lose money. But you know, we run a tight ship, so we still make money.
That's what you did with these FiberX plans, right? You increased the maximum possible speed. So it's from 20 to 25, the 50 Mbps.
So now it's,
what
no.
does that require?
Well, the main reason for the 20 to 25 is definition of broadband. So again, taking it from the FCC, they say it's 25 meg. So 25, 50, 100, and then we launched today 300 and 500 megabits.
300 and 500.
Yep.
How about the 50 Mbps connection?
It's still 50.
It's still 50.
Still 50,
From before
still
it was
100.
50.
Yeah,
And
50.
100.
So only the 20 we changed.
Okay.
And also it's a good jump, no? 25 times 250 times 100.
Yeah. Converge is a fairly unfamiliar brands
Yes.
for many Filipinos, right? And you guys don't advertise. Your main marketing tool seems to be word of mouth with your with the good customer service that you promise, right? If you were gonna introduce yourself to a new consumer, how would you introduce Converge?
Normally, because in my case, no, I have a lot of friends who buy. So they say, I know you, but I don't know your company. So the way I introduce this is us ourselves, our company, is we are large enough. We generate like 3 billion in revenue, but we're small enough to provide a differentiated service to our customers. And the big difference here is, we only provide fiber-based services. So, most of the time, it's enough. Okay, can you tell me the rates? Can you tell me if it's available? And then, can you tell me who else among our friends uses it? So, we probably will never advertise mass media, but we're going to go heavy online, digital, social.
You talked about Converge being fiber only. It's unlike other service providers who have LTE and DSL, right? Are there pros and cons to being a fiber only, a fiber focused internet service provider?
Fiber is more delicate to install. So that's one. Also, upfront, fiber is a bit more expensive. But obviously, the whole idea about being pure fiber is to get to scale. Kasi when you get to scale, then you have lower unit costs. That's probably most of the downside. The upside is that, number one, it's a lot more reliable. The only time you have a problem is when you have a fiber cut. Unlike, with DSL or even LTE, rain, moisture, lightning, this all affects those services. So there are less outages, meaning in the long term, it's lower cost to maintain. Second, it's practically unlimited capacity. Actually, when we put in a fiber to your home, that is running at 1 gigabit already. So you buy a 20 megabit service, you can expand all the way to 1 gigabit without us doing anything physical. So in our NOC, we just modify the parameters and suddenly you're 50 meg, 100 meg. Unlike with the...
But the cable is the same.
Still the same. So yun yung probably a little bit more cost upfront, but more reliable, more scalable, and lower total cost of ownership.
Okay. Yeah. Why is it easier to scale? Fiber is easier to scale. Did I get that correct?
No. The line that we put there can scale from like 0 to 1 gig. Earlier, I was just saying na, once we get to scale, meaning, we have tens of thousands or 100,000 of line, the unit cost goes down. Right now, it's still a bit more expensive. It's cheaper to do DSL. Yeah, but, take your chances with the service.
It's a more expensive investment upfront. It's a bigger investment. Okay. You said that it's more delicate to install, but it's more. It's more. Is it more reliable?
If you install
Does
it
it break a
properly,
lot?
it's more reliable. Kasi fiber, you don't have to cut it for it to fail. You just bend it a little bit, it will stop working. So you have to install it properly. And when you install it properly, the chances that you'll have a problem that there's deterioration, like you get in copper, or like wireless tree grows, mga ganon, di ba? That you'll have a problem is actually very small. Yeah.
Is it like inside the protector?
Well, depends, no? Kasi some houses, I said, installation is delicate. It's not just the fiber, And that's the weird part. So we have a lot of high-end customer. So, they have nice, expensive houses. They don't want your installation, to look messy. Okay? But for telephone service, they're fine with it. Those brown wires. So medyo weird Pero pag fiber, they don't want they don't want to see the white fiber or the black fiber coming down. So we also have another again, it's an innovation, no? So it's a colorless fiber. So it's like the fishing wire. So we string it dun sa along the wall and then up to the ceiling, and we call it an invisible fiber. So yun, as long as that's installed properly, it's gonna be worry-free. And aesthetically, no effect.
You also said that you have no data.
Yes.
Was it challenging to implement a feature like that? It's a big demand. I mean, people want connection like that. Right? And not every company is willing to offer a no data cap plan. And you guys were able to do it. Were there challenges to doing that? Or are there?
Actually, it's more challenging to put in data caps because you have to put in more IT and more equipment just to make it happen. So it actually makes your setup more complex because now you need something that meters, and then when you notice that you're approaching that, then you have to change the speed, all of those things. So it actually adds to the complexity.
Okay.
Now, if you don't have a data hub, the only concern is there going to be abuse?
Yeah.
But maybe you should separate wireline services, especially fiber, and wireless. I think on the mobile side, maybe it's reasonable to have a data cap. But look at the US, no? Verizon has removed data caps. So on the fixed line kasi, there's no capacity constraint. And then, now the thought is that it's gonna be abused. Well, if you're a business, that's why our business plans are more expensive, then we don't consider it abuse. You pay more. But on the residential, how much data can you use? In the old days, people were downloading, di ba, torrent? There's less of that now. It's all streaming. And you know what a stream is? 2 megabits. So you buy a 20 megabit service, 2 megabits lang is not using a large part of the network. And with our CDN, where all the content is now localized, we manage our costs very well while improving our quality. So it's actually easier to not do data caps. Less complex also.
Okay. There was one guy in the comment section who said that it's because of the fact that there's no more Pirate Bay that you are now able to implement a no data cap.
We had no data cap since last year. Yeah, I guess
it's just one of
it's the streaming.
Streaming, the
Kasi,
streaming.
Like Pirate Bay, that's illegal downloading. But now, it's been replaced by illegal streaming. The only difference is a stream has a defined data rate, whereas if downloading, it's like, it could be very fast, could be very slow, it could congest the network. So, I think behavior of users have changed. Why download when I can stream? Real time, on demand.
As opposed to waiting for, for a download. I've gotten through most of my questions. There's a few more. What problems have you seen with the more established internet providers that your company hopes to overcome? Are there?
Well, number one is we're trying to. I'm not saying that we're much better than them.
Okay. Yeah.
So there are different pieces kasi to the customer experience. One is should be easy to avail of your service. So we work very hard to streamline the application process, and in fact we will launch an online application portal where there will be no human intervention. That's number one. Number two is make sure that you're running the network to the extent that no matter how fast you grow, you're providing a consistent user experience. I always come across that okay lang yan, you're fast kasi it's just starting, later on babagal din yan. Ngayon, like 1 year hence, I go back to my friends, so what's the experience? I say, 20 megabits before, 20 megabits now, day in, day out. You must ensure that, you really provide the same experience. Hindi yung pag dumami na babagal. And then third, when you have a problem, try to make sure that you resolve it faster. Most of the time, ang reklamo kasi, I call, nobody answers, or I talk to an agent and nothing happens. Sometimes we still slip up, pero when we find that, we really look into it, what's the root cause, and fix it. We don't want it to happen again. So those are the 3 simple things. So if you have that, and I think it's proof, we're getting customers. We have no branding, we have no image, but people are buying our service. And it's because of this. That's simple. So imagine if the aware, sabi ko nga, the main problem for Converge is we need to get in front of the customer. Because in my own personal experience, if I get in front of a customer, 100% of the time, they buy from us. And by the way, those customers, after a while, they start referring customers. Because of that nga, we decided to launch a member-get-member program. Because they're referring customers. So sayang naman effort, di ba? So if you refer a customer and then they sign up with us, we credit, we give credit to your bill, you don't have to pay.
So it's really word of mouth.
Word of mouth talaga.
Referrals. How fast do you plan to expand?
Well, as fast as we can. Obviously, it costs money. So if it's just the access network, it's manageable. But the difficult part is building the backbone. Kasi, like once you start going between islands, it's more expensive, submarine cables and stuff like that.
Can you pinpoint a certain year, like 2018, 2019 moving Visayas?
So, for example, last year, the CEO said that he wanted to start Cebu. But when we looked at the situation, we will build Cebu, but in Manila, when a customer calls, we have service in San Juan. Sorry, we don't. But actually, we have service in San Juan, except that it's spotty. So we decided na let's do 100% coverage.
In Luzon?
Yeah, where we are.
Okay.
Yun muna, kasi parang useless di ba? So we're actually fixing up the coverage area.
Yeah.
So after that, we will progressively move out. Now, we're
What's
also
your
looking
timetable
at
for reaching 100% in Luzon?
3 years.
3 years.
Sooner or later, we'll have to think about bringing in a partner, strategic partner. There's gonna be a need for more money, technical expertise, scale. So
As you grow bigger.
yes, and we've been approached. So there's a lot of interest.
Do you think you'll be able to maintain your price advantage as you grow in the coming years?
Hopefully, again, we run a very tight ship. Of course, what we also want to do is to give a better, should I say, better life to our employees. So that will increase our cost. But at the same time, we're heavily into automation, process improvement, so that we don't bloat. I think that's a problem for some others now. They're beginning to bloat. The way we run our company, I don't think we'll get to that point. And in fact, the whole idea is when can we get, and don't take this as a promise, when can we get to a point where you can get a fiber service for 1,000 pesos? We can't do it right now because we need money to expand. But that's the dream of the owner. Get affordable fiber into as many homes as possible.
Okay. That's great. Okay. Just one last thing. Wait, you mentioned that that's a dream of your CEO.
Yeah.
What's motivating him to become a viable option for consumers in the Philippines? What's motivating him?
Dennis Uy, the CEO, is a visionary. So that's first. So very technology driven. In fact, sometimes we call him the resident geek. But on the other hand, he also wants to extend, the comfort, if I may use the term, that he's enjoyed to more people. Kasi he didn't start rich. Hindi naman rags to riches, but middle class, and then now to where he is. So he wants everybody to enjoy more or less the same. In fact, I really admire these people. They're big time already, very rich, but they don't act it. To them, it's more like how can we help? So less of money to him, but more of am I gonna be leaving a legacy, right? And hopefully the legacy is we're either the ones who really brought broadband here or forced the country into the broadband world. I feel personally, if we were not here, those two will probably take their time. There's no competition.
Yeah.
In fact, now, sabi nga ng friend, maybe you should unfriend some of your Facebook friends. Why? You post stuff and then, they're just gonna, let's go to this place. They lost this service. I don't think so. Right?
You'll do your own thing.
Basta we do our own thing. If you want a copy, it's your problem, di ba? So, to a certain extent, I think we've also got them to be, more on their toes. Between the two of them, probably not.
Okay.
Now they're worried that there's somebody disrupting. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have plans in what role do you plan to play in our country's broadband plans, the free public Wi-Fi? Do you want to
actually today
take part in that
we're
also?
bidding. We've won some pieces of the free public Wi-Fi.
Okay.
National broadband, if they bid it out, we definitely want to bid. And on our own, we will continue to do what we're doing, which is to bring affordable high-speed internet service as fast as we can to as large an area as we can. It would be good if NBN happens in whatever form. So we definitely will be watching that very closely and playing